Hello, I'm Dr. James. If you're over 60, what I'm about to share could genuinely reshape the next few years of your life. Prostate-related conditions are increasingly prevalent among older men, and what's truly concerning is how many don't realize their everyday habits are silently fueling these issues. A study by the American Urological Association revealed that over 90% of men aged 60 and above experience some degree of prostate enlargement. Often, they're completely unaware this is directly linked to their daily routines. The truth is, aging itself isn't the sole determining factor. In many cases, it's those consistent daily habits that cause this slow, continuous enlargement. Over years of medical practice, I've seen countless patients, from their 60s to their 80s, who achieved comfortable, full lives simply by adjusting small parts of their routine. But I've also witnessed the opposite: men who ignored symptoms and faced entirely preventable complications. In this video, you'll discover the 10 most common behaviors contributing to silent prostate growth, and the last one, without a doubt, is the most detrimental. My aim here isn't to create panic. It's to provide you with practical, straightforward, and evidence-based knowledge, empowering you to take action before symptoms worsen. So please, watch this entire video. When it comes to prostate health, prevention truly begins with simple yet crucial choices. Let's start with habit number 10, chronic dehydration and its hidden consequences for your prostate. Among the most common mistakes affecting the prostate in older age, dehydration often goes unnoticed. Many men reduce their fluid intake, mistakenly believing it will help them avoid inconvenience, especially those bothersome nighttime bathroom trips. However, the effect is precisely the opposite. When your body operates with insufficient water, urine becomes more concentrated, irritating the bladder and prostate tissues. Over time, this constant stress creates an environment ripe for inflammation, which is a factor closely linked to prostate enlargement. Furthermore, a lack of hydration impairs the elimination of toxins through your urinary system. Waste products accumulate in the body, overloading the kidneys, bladder, and consequently, your prostate. Instead of protecting you, restricting fluids only exacerbates the problem. An additional complicating factor is that many medications taken by older adults have a diuretic effect. Without proper fluid replenishment, the risk of dehydration increases even further, along with urinary symptoms. Your body sends clear signals: dark urine, burning during urination, unusual fatigue. But instead of rehydrating, many continue to avoid water, thinking it's the right choice. The ideal approach is consistent fluid intake throughout the day, even in small portions. There's no need to overdo it. The goal is simply light yellow urine, a sign of your urinary system working harmoniously. Changing this habit is simple, free, and highly effective. Water isn't the problem, it's a vital part of the solution. Moving on to habit number 9, prolonged sitting without breaks. A sedentary lifestyle is more dangerous than it appears, especially for the pelvic region. Extended periods of sitting without interruption disrupt blood circulation in the lower body and exert direct pressure on the prostate. This constant compression impedes blood flow to the tissues surrounding the gland, fostering inflammatory processes and hindering cellular regeneration. Over time, this lack of oxygen intensifies symptoms like discomfort, urgent urges to urinate, and the sensation of incomplete bladder emptying. Additionally, prolonged immobility weakens the pelvic floor muscles, a group of muscles vital for urinary control. When these muscles lose strength, it becomes harder to fully empty the bladder, leading to urine retention and increasing prostate irritation. Men who spend hours in front of the television, at the computer, or in comfortable chairs are particularly at risk. Fleeting comfort gradually transforms into a silent factor aggravating symptoms. Preventive measures don't require much effort. Simply standing up every half hour, walking around a bit, doing light stretches, or even just consciously moving your legs. This is already enough to reduce pressure and activate local blood circulation. Ignoring this habit means allowing inflammation to slowly develop. Combating inactivity, even at home, is a concrete way to protect prostate health through simple and effective actions. Habit number 8. Excessive caffeine consumption throughout the day. Among the most common stimulants in daily life, caffeine holds a special place. The problem is that when consumed in excess, it stops being merely a stimulant and starts to overload the bladder and prostate. Caffeine has a diuretic effect, meaning it increases urine production and causes more frequent bladder contractions. For those already suffering from an enlarged prostate, this activity causes discomfort, urgent urges, and difficulties controlling urination. Furthermore, caffeine affects the muscles of the bladder neck area, the region connecting the bladder and the urethra. Excessive contraction of these muscles makes it difficult to completely empty the bladder and increases the volume of residual urine, further intensifying pressure on the prostate. Frequent consumption of strong coffee, dark tea, and energy drinks exacerbates the situation. Daily repetition creates an environment of constant irritation, which contributes to inflammatory processes and worsens existing urinary symptoms. It's not about complete caffeine abstinence, but about setting a limit. A moderate dose in the morning is generally well tolerated. After that, it's better to switch to decaffeinated versions or stimulant-free infusions. This can significantly alleviate the condition within just a few days. Balanced caffeine consumption is one of the simplest ways to lighten the load on the bladder and allow the prostate to function with less strain. Habit number 7. An excess of spicy food and ultra-processed products. Nutrition has a direct impact on prostate health, and two types of foods particularly negatively affect this process: heavily spiced foods and industrially processed products. Spicy condiments like pepper, hot sauces, and concentrated spices contain substances that intensify inflammation in sensitive tissues. When consumed frequently, they irritate not only the stomach and intestines, but also the tissues around the bladder and prostate. Ultra-processed products pose a different threat. Artificial preservatives, flavor enhancers, hydrogenated fats, excessive sodium, and hidden sugars. These components directly disrupt hormonal balance, overload the liver, and make toxin elimination difficult. For the prostate, such a scenario is particularly dangerous. The combination of systemic inflammation and hormonal imbalance creates ideal conditions for gland enlargement, a process that often progresses slowly and asymptomatically in its initial stages. Moreover, an excess of salty food causes fluid retention, which increases pressure on the bladder and intensifies symptoms such as urgency and frequent urination. Reducing the consumption of such products doesn't mean sacrificing taste. Simple substitutions, natural herbs, olive oil, turmeric, and fresh vegetables help maintain the flavor of dishes while protecting prostate health in the long term. Caring for your prostate starts with your plate. What seems like a harmless lunch choice can, over time, turn into a chronic risk factor. Habit number 6. Frequently delaying urination. Among the automatic actions detrimental to the prostate, holding urine is one of the most common yet frequently ignored. For convenience, due to a rush or simply out of habit, many men delay going to the bathroom for hours, even when their body signals the need. The problem is that prolonged urine retention directly pressures the bladder. Since the prostate gland is located directly beneath it, all this tension is transferred to the gland, causing recurrent irritation over time. Furthermore, stagnant fluid for extended periods promotes bacterial growth and increases the risk of urinary tract infections, which in turn also affect prostate tissues. Chronic inflammation sets in slowly but persistently. Another crucial aspect is incomplete emptying. As we age, the muscles of the urinary system lose efficiency. The more frequently one delays urination, the harder it becomes to fully empty the bladder, and residual urine amplifies pressure and irritation. Prevention begins with paying close attention to your body's signals. Going to the bathroom immediately after feeling the urge, without delay, helps maintain balanced urinary function and reduces the risk of prostate complications. This might seem like a minor detail, but over the years, such a habit significantly impacts prostate health. Habit number 5. Excessive abdominal fat and its hidden impact on the prostate. The accumulation of fat around the waist isn't merely an aesthetic concern. It has serious implications for prostate health and acts as an active inflammatory factor throughout the body. Adipose tissue in the abdominal region functions like an endocrine organ, releasing inflammatory substances that circulate in the bloodstream. These directly affect sensitive organs, such as the prostate gland. Furthermore, fat accumulation disrupts hormonal balance. Elevated estrogen levels and reduced testosterone production are often observed in men with excess abdominal weight, and such an imbalance contributes to abnormal prostate enlargement. Another critical factor is physical pressure. Central body fat compresses internal organs, interferes with bladder function, and increases resistance in the urethra. This leads to exacerbated urinary symptoms and makes complete bladder emptying more challenging. Even a modest weight loss can yield significant improvements. Reducing waist circumference lowers local pressure, enhances urinary function, and helps control the progression of prostate hyperplasia. We're not talking about stringent dieting here. Regular walks, simple dietary changes, and reduced sugar intake are often sufficient to safely initiate this process. Essentially, caring for your waistline is a direct way of caring for your prostate health. Habit number 4. Ignoring preventive screenings. Avoiding doctor visits and postponing routine checkups is one of the riskiest behaviors. When it comes to prostate health, the prostate can enlarge for years without pain or significant changes in daily life. This is precisely why problems often go unnoticed until a severe worsening occurs. Simple examinations, such as a digital rectal exam, DRE, and a PSA test, provide valuable information about inflammation, changes in volume, and potential abnormalities. To ignore these periodic assessments means giving minor deviations the chance to develop in silence. There's also another barrier: discomfort or embarrassment when discussing urinary symptoms. Many men avoid this topic or downplay obvious signs like frequent urination or the sensation of incomplete bladder emptying. This stance hinders early diagnosis. Screening serves not only to detect serious diseases, but also helps in making simple lifestyle decisions. In many cases, discovering changes at an early stage can help avoid medications, surgeries, or hospitalizations. Correcting your diet, hydration, and physical activity already brings noticeable results. Waiting until symptoms become unbearable is the most common, yet also the most dangerous path for those who ignore prevention. Visiting a doctor once a year, with specific attention to your prostate, is a fundamental step that significantly impacts healthy aging. Now, let's discuss some common habits. First, consider the excessive consumption of red meat, especially processed varieties like bacon, sausage, and other prepared meats. These directly influence prostate health when consumed too frequently. The issue isn't the product itself, but rather its daily consumption in immoderate amounts and without balance from other protein sources. These foods are rich in saturated fats and substances that actively promote inflammatory processes. Chronic inflammation, in turn, is directly linked to a gradual enlargement of the prostate and the worsening of urinary symptoms as you age. Furthermore, processed meats contain preservatives, nitrates, and chemical compounds that can disrupt hormonal balance in men and escalate oxidative stress at a cellular level. In an aging body, the reaction to such irritants slows down, allowing harm to accumulate over time. Another critical aspect is the digestive burden. As we age, our metabolism decelerates, digestion becomes less efficient, and waste elimination becomes more challenging. Red meat demands significant effort to digest, potentially causing metabolic overload and contributing to abdominal obesity, another factor negatively impacting the prostate. The good news is that the solution doesn't demand complete abstinence from meat. Simply reducing its frequency and occasionally substituting it with fish, eggs, legumes, or grilled chicken is often enough for noticeable improvements within just a few weeks. Reducing red meat intake isn't a prohibition, but a strategic choice to maintain prostate function with less inflammation and greater overall balance. Moving on to our second habit, active smoking or frequent exposure to tobacco smoke. Smoking, or even regularly being around smokers, poses a direct and significant threat to prostate health, and its damage extends far beyond the respiratory system. Tobacco smoke contains thousands of toxic substances that circulate throughout the body, hindering tissue oxygenation and escalating cellular oxidative stress. This persistent burden diminishes the tissue's ability to regenerate and creates an ideal environment for chronic inflammation. For the prostate, the effect is twofold. Reduced circulation impedes the delivery of essential nutrients and oxygen to the pelvic region, while toxic compounds from cigarette smoke intensify local inflammation, promoting abnormal gland enlargement. Even individuals who don't smoke directly, but regularly spend time in smoke-filled environments, are exposed to these same long-term risks. The difference lies only in the degree of exposure. The risk undeniably persists. Smoking also impacts hormonal levels and lowers the concentration of natural antioxidants in the body, thereby weakening the prostate's defense against cellular damage. Quitting smoking or eliminating passive exposure brings profound benefits to all body systems. Circulation can improve within mere days. Levels of inflammatory markers decrease, and your body begins to repair damage accumulated over years. Protecting the prostate unequivocally begins with eliminating the most obvious harmful factors, and cigarettes are, without a doubt, among the foremost. Finally, let's address the first habit, living in constant stress and lacking effective emotional tension management. Chronic stress is one of the quietest, yet most destructive forces for men's health, exerting a direct influence on the prostate gland. While it might not trigger immediate symptoms, its consequences accumulate, disrupting internal systems and fueling deep inflammatory processes. When the body is under constant tension, it produces hormones like cortisol in elevated quantities. This hormonal imbalance disrupts immunity, weakens natural recovery mechanisms, and contributes to changes in prostate tissues. Moreover, prolonged stress causes muscle tension in the pelvic area, impairs local blood circulation, and affects the peripheral nerves that regulate urination. The result is more pronounced symptoms such as urgency, pain, or difficulty fully emptying the bladder. Prostate health depends not only on diet and physical activity, but also on the stability of the nervous system. A body under stress reacts more aggressively to inflammatory irritants, accelerating gland growth. Ignoring daily emotional strain means allowing this process to develop unchecked. On the other hand, simple actions like conscious breathing, regular rest, light walks, and moments of quiet reduce internal tension and restore physiological balance. Caring for your mental state inevitably means caring for your prostate, and this is built through small but consistent daily choices. Now that you've learned about 10 habits that subtly contribute to prostate enlargement, the solution is in your hands. Ignoring these factors over time can come at a high cost. Discomfort, sleepless nights, unnecessary medications, and a loss of autonomy. Conversely, correcting these simple daily habits is a concrete and accessible way to protect your health in the long term. Don't wait for symptoms to worsen. Start with one habit, change one choice. The results will come with time and your body will respond. If this material was helpful to you, please consider leaving a comment with the phrase, "Every corrected decision is another step towards my health." This shows that you care about your quality of life and can inspire other men to do the same. Share this video with friends, brothers, fathers, or anyone who should know this information. This topic is too serious to remain in the shadows. We're dedicated to bringing you reliable, straightforward, and practical information each week, helping you live better, especially after 60. Taking care of your health is a continuous journey, and I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you very much.